The courtroom was quiet except for the nervous tapping of a cheap pair of shoes. Mary Langford, a frail widow in her early 60s, clutched her worn leather purse as if it contained her whole world, because, in truth, it did. Inside that purse was everything she had left: her husband's folded obituary, a bus ticket home, and a wrinkled letter threatening to evict her from the small house she'd lived in for 30 years. Now, she stood before a judge who hadn't looked up from his papers since she walked in. "Mrs. Langford," he said in a flat tone, "you're being sued for failing to pay the remaining balance on your late husband's medical bills, $32,000. Do you have a lawyer?" Mary shook her head. "No, sir. I can't afford one." The judge sighed. "Then I'll need to hear your statement, but let's keep it brief. I have a full docket." A ripple of quiet laughter came from the back of the courtroom. A few onlookers smirked, glancing at the trembling woman who looked out of place among the suits and polished shoes. Mary's voice quivered. "Your Honor, I'm not asking to escape what I owe. I just need time. My husband served this country, and I've been working at the diner since he passed. I pay what I can every month." The judge leaned back, rubbing his temple as if she were a nuisance. "Mrs. Langford, you've been in default for over a year. These are the consequences of..." Suddenly, the courtroom doors swung open. The sound of heavy boots echoed across the marble floor. Heads turned. In walked a group of men, 6, maybe 7 of them, all wearing leather jackets with patches that read Iron Shepherd's Motorcycle Club. Their presence was magnetic and intimidating, a thunderstorm in human form. The bailiff stiffened, ready to step in, but the tallest among them, broad-shouldered, bearded, and calm, raised his hands in peace. "We're not here to cause trouble," he said in a deep voice. "We're here for Mrs. Langford." The judge blinked. "Excuse me? Who are you people?" The man nodded toward Mary, who looked just as stunned as everyone else. "Name's Jake Turner. Mary's husband Tom saved my life 12 years ago." The courtroom went silent. Jake stepped forward, his boots thudding softly on the floor. "I was in a wreck. My bike skidded under a semi. Tom Langford was the first to stop, pulled me out, got me breathing again before the ambulance came. I never forgot him. When one of the guys heard Mary was in trouble, we came." The judge frowned, skeptical. "And what exactly do you expect me to do?" Jake smiled faintly. "Nothing. We came to do what's right." He reached into his vest and pulled out a folded envelope. Another biker followed suit. Then another. They walked, one by one, to Mary's side, setting envelopes on the defense table like a slow-moving miracle. Mary's hands shook. "What is this?" Jake placed his hand over hers. "Tom gave me a second chance at life. We're just paying it forward." The judge cleared his throat, visibly uncomfortable. "Gentlemen, you can't just..." One of the bikers interrupted, his tone respectful but firm. "The money's clean, Your Honor. Every dollar earned honest. We don't break the law, we fix bikes, raise funds for vets, and help folks when no one else will." The judge glanced down at the stack of envelopes, then at Mary, whose eyes had filled with tears. He finally spoke, softer this time. "Mrs. Langford, it appears your debt is settled." The courtroom was still. Even the ones who had laughed earlier now looked away in shame. Mary covered her mouth, overwhelmed. I don't know how to thank you." Jake smiled. "You already did. You raised a good man." For a moment, the courtroom didn't feel like a courtroom, it felt like church. No laws, no judgments. Just humanity. The judge looked at Jake, then at Mary, and slowly removed his glasses. "Mrs. Langford, this case is dismissed." A gavel struck, echoing through the room like thunder breaking a storm. As the Iron Shepherds escorted Mary out, one of the younger bikers held the door open for her, giving her a proud grin. Outside, the morning sun gleamed off the chrome of their bikes. The roar of engines soon followed, not angry, but victorious. Weeks later, a small article appeared in the local paper. It spread like wildfire online, shared across America, Canada, and the UK. People called it the day the bikers taught the courtroom compassion. But Mary didn't care about the headlines. She cared about what Jake said the next day when he stopped by her house with groceries and a new porch light. He said, "Tom saved my life once. But today, Mrs. Langford, you reminded me what that life's supposed to be used for." She smiled, wiping a tear from her cheek. "Kindness still matters, doesn't it?" Jake nodded. "More than ever. True justice isn't found in a courtroom, it's found in compassion. Because when kindness walks through the door, even the proudest heart learns to stand in silence." For weeks after the courtroom miracle, Mary Langford's small house became something of a local landmark. Not because it was fancy, it was an old two-bedroom with peeling paint and a sagging porch, but because it had become a symbol of something people had forgotten: decency. Neighbors who used to pass her by started waving. Strangers left groceries on her porch. And every Sunday morning, the faint rumble of motorcycles echoed down her quiet street. Jake and his crew never stayed long. They'd park, help fix whatever needed fixing, and leave before she could make them lunch. But Mary always noticed how careful they were with their words, how gentle they seemed despite their rough appearances. One morning, she found a note tucked under her door. "Tom saved one life that day, but his kindness saved 7 more since. You keep us grounded, Mrs. Langford. The Iron Shepherds." Mary pressed the note to her chest, whispering, "He'd be proud of you boys." About a month later, as autumn leaves began to fall, Mary received another letter, this one stamped from the Department of Veterans Affairs. She opened it slowly, her fingers trembling. The words blurred through her tears. "Your husband's posthumous benefits have been re-evaluated. You are now eligible for compensation owed since 2013. It was enough to pay off her mortgage and keep her house." Mary fell to her knees, overcome with relief. For the first time in years, she didn't have to choose between food and bills. But her joy was short-lived. That evening, as she looked out from her porch, she saw Jake's truck pull up. Only this time, his expression wasn't the calm, confident one she was used to. "Jake? What's wrong?" He hesitated. "It's Danny, one of our youngest. He got hurt real bad helping out on the highway. A car didn't see him changing a tire." Mary's heart sank. "Oh no, is he?" "He's alive. But the hospital wants cash up front. Insurance won't cover half of it." Mary didn't even think. She hurried inside, grabbed the letter from the VA, and placed it in Jake's hands. "I just got this. It's back pay from Tom's service. You use it for Danny." Jake stared at her like she'd lost her mind. "Mary, no. This is your home. Your future." She smiled through tears. "It's our future, Jake. You all gave me mine back. Let me do the same."